looking in your big brown eyes. So this is funky, funky. I don't know what it means. I do know that back in May when I was watching these things, they had very similar motions moving up and down, but it looked more like this. This is what it looked like. If you were to pick this up by its shoulder here and drag it up to here, it would look almost identical to this movement, um, like we saw at the end of June and most of July. These would move identically. You put these motherfuckers up next to each other like this, and they moved identically. Back in May, they moved a lot like this too. Almost looked like GME's chart was this, but it started melting here downward. Um, I don't know what that means. I don't know if that's a good thing. I do know that back in May, when it was looking like this, it ended up coming to fruition to be a good thing. Um, but this ain't us. Maybe it's institutions, possibly. Maybe the buying pressure is institutions. I don't know. But that is like exact buying pressure, matched buying pressure. Could be returns and like the IWM or something like that. The ETFs that still have AMC in them, or the ones that have GME in them. I don't know. Um, but it also could be, the dark pool activity. That's shit's been being routed in there for over a month now, and it's like 30, 35 days, I believe, and I think it can be longer than that, depending on the size of the order that they chop it up into bits and sprinkle it in to the underlying environment over the course of that amount of time. And, yeah, that works if it's one big order. But if you're doing it every day, it's eventually going to catch up. That 30, 35 day mark is going to catch up. And you're going to be having consecutive days of price action being sprinkled in. Um, so there's a possibility they fucked themselves. And that could be what this is. Their dark pool orders that have been delayed and routed catching up like daily. In the last week, that's probably maybe. I think that's just speculation, just a theory. There's not enough transparency in dark pools to find out exactly how that shit happens. I don't know if this is truth or fact. Please, don't say or think that it is. It's speculation, just thought based on what I know, what I've read, because there is no direct information on exactly how this shit works. And you definitely can't see exactly how it works, but it makes sense. So to me, it makes sense. And I was waiting to see if that was going to happen, which is why I saw August, the end of August. Really looking forward to that. All the filings coming through. A lot of these delayed orders used to the dark pool based on the 30, 35 day thing that I'd seen. I know I saw somewhere where it was like 60 days could be a thing. Um, but, like I said, that's designed for one big purchase, on one day, to be, diced up over periodically over whatever time frame they deem necessary, depending on the size of the order, so that like this would happen. You'll get a day where there's a chunk of it that runs up, and then a few days later you get another day where there's a chunk of it that moves up. The buying pressure getting pushed in. But you do that daily, every fucking day. If you're doing that with orders, you're going to hit that 30-day mark, 35-day mark, and it's going to be consecutive days of your sprinkled shit being pushed into this. Again, speculation. That's it. Just trying to make sense of what's in front of me. And there's a variety of different things that it could be. It could be all of them, but we just got to watch it. Just got to see. I do know the last few days of trading for AMC have been very, very good for AMC. The environment as a whole becoming profitable again. So just gotta watch it. We'll see. It's funny, fucking Charlie putting out videos on the Miax Emerald and shit, and I was looking at shit for Pearl, which isn't a huge thing. This is all just reevaluating fees because there's a certain fee cap, which there's another filing also that's supposed to be upping the current fee cap. So, like for the Emerald submission for the GBULL tiered fee schedule, they had to remove a certain percentage from the ORF that they collect. They dropped the fee by a very minuscule amount, but still, they have to work in this tight little knit fee cap that's in place currently. So if they want to add to one, they got to take from another. But I still think that where they're directing it to is good, because that's important. You know, these people connecting off exchange and shit and doing it in kind of literally a mob style way, almost like a fucking black market way. It's crazy. Like I said, we're in for a crazy end of the year. We just are with the market. There's a lot of good that can happen. There's a lot of bad that could happen. We'll see. I'm noticing everyone now wants to ride Gary Gensler's nuts, man. Everybody was all, especially old cores, when talking about Gary Gensler, was all like, "Oh, he's the SEC chair. It's whatever, blah blah blah." When he like first took chair and people were talking about it, I love Gary Gensler. I don't care what no one says. The dude's a godsend for the market and retail investors. He's quick-witted. He's a fucking wordsmith. Like, you ain't gonna catch him sleeping. If you watch any of like the congressional hearings and shit with him from back in April and May, whatever, with the GameStop shit, dude's fucking just, he's on his shit. Like, he just is. They try to get him to slip up, try to get him to be biased or say something biased. If he did that, he could be thrown out of the chair position. If he did that, but he's just like laughs it off and is like, "You ain't getting me, motherfucker." But I like how the whole community loves him now, and everyone's all, "Gary, Gary, Gary, Gary." Well, y'all didn't give a shit about him when he took chair back in April, and when he was pushing for good regulations and change in May, and everyone was like, "Oh, in June, where is he? Why isn't he doing anything? Fuck him." He is and has been. You just are too ignorant to know where to look, like SEC.gov, maybe, to find out what he's been doing and what's going on. But, whatever. I don't care. As long as they're pushing it out there, celebrating the man, that's cool. That's good shit. But they're just showing old stuff, like very, very old shit, and trying to pass it off like it's new. And it's fucking old. It's months old. But, clickbait and whatnot. Tis what it is. So, keep an eye on this market. See what happens. I'm hoping this is what I'd love for this to make that break towards 38 by the end of the day. It's doing what I thought it. Honestly, I thought it was going to come down here and stay down here. That's what I really thought it was going to do. Stay down in the 35, 34 range. Because this week's end, contracts at 34 and 35 are very, very, very muy importante, mi amigos. I would love Monday to start out running up towards 38. And I would love tomorrow to push that bitch to 40. Even if it doesn't go over and stay over 40, if that bitch is fluttering around 39.99, I'll be happy and a pig and shit. I will be ecstatic. Just want to see this thing moving up, moving up, moving up. Moving on up. AMC. I'm going to call it the Jeffersons. Alright, let's see what happens for the rest of the day. Is it fucking raining? God damn. Yeah, it is. I should just started pouring. Alright, well, let me get out of here. We'll check back in a few.